So today I thought I'd show you a few ways in which I do jelly printing. This is a great way to create lots of collage papers and just a really fun activity to do. Just fill your floor with jelly prints. So to start we'll need a jelly plate and some acrylic paint. So I've just chosen to stick with a fairly limited palette of colours here. I've got white, I have used black in this too, and then I've picked out 4 colours to use. You'll also need a roller or a brayer, some tools. I've got silicone brushes, a palette knife and a paintbrush, a stay wet palette just on the side in case I want to use it, and some paper. This is your regular computer paper. I've used about 120 GSM. Then you can start adding some paint to the jelly plate. So I'm just squeezing the paint straight from the tube here. You don't need too much, I've probably got a little bit more than I normally use here. Then use your roller just to roll that paint out, and you can roll it until all the paint is mixed, or like here I've stopped because I quite like that effect, and I'll take a print straight from the plate here. So just place the paper on top and rub down the paper so you've put pressure on all the areas, peel off, and you get a really cool print. And taking a second print off the same plate here, as there was still some paint left on the plate. As you can see, the plate's almost clean there, but the rest of it is on my paper. So I'm coming back in, squeezing the paint straight from the tube. So I've got some burnt sienna there, some of the powder blue, and I'm just using the roller without even taking the excess paint off the roller. Sometimes I'll roll it onto the side of a scrap bit of paper, but I quite like just mixing it together. Then I'm going to print straight on top of that lovely fluorescent colour. Don't know why I've chosen to come in with the brown over the top, because I love those fluorescent colours, but then again it's quite good just to see what happens. And actually that's pretty cool. And I brought the other piece of fluorescent paper back in now, but this time rather than doing the whole sheet I'm going to place it just at the top there, just to do a section, and another piece of paper at the bottom. And once I pull these off you'll see that I've not done the full sheet. You get a lovely straight line where you've chosen to print. It's a nice contrast too with the brown against the fluorescent bright paint. So I'm just coming back in here with some paint straight from the tube. So I'm using some of that powder blue again and white, and then using the brayer again. I've not washed this off, so there's some of the burnt sienna still on there, and I've rolled it out, not fully, just quite nice and abstract there, and I'm just using that previous print just to print over the top. Smooth it all down and peel. And that's some lovely effects. And there's still some paint left on there, so I'm coming back in with that one just to print over the top. I love that. I love those big blobby white marks. Now I'm going to just start putting a few paints onto the palette so that I can start mixing some colours. So I've got the fluorescent, I've got the sienna, and I'm going to add a little bit of white to that. And it makes a lovely like salmon pink. So I'm just using the silicone brush just to apply some of the paint. You can use a paintbrush, that'd be fine. Roll it all out. And I think I chose just to do a block colour here. So just roll it all out paper on top and smooth down. And I must have a bit of a think with this colour at the moment because it's matching my nail varnish. Peel it off. And there, a nice block colour to print on top of. Some more paint on the plate. And this time, rather than rolling the paint out on the whole of the plate, I'm just doing a section. Placing some paper above so I don't get any of that excess paint onto the next print. Then this one on, and that should just print that little section there at the bottom as a block of colour. So just smooth down and peel off. And there we've got some of the excess paint that we didn't want on the previous one. It wouldn't have mattered. There isn't actually that much there. And that's taking all the paint off the plate. Then in with some fluorescent pink, my favourite, and some white. Roll it in. Again, there's a little bit of that burnt sienna left on the brayer. That's making a really nice colour. Some lovely unexpected fluorescent pink bits there that haven't fully mixed in. And I'm just going to take off the excess on top of that. You can see it's starting to bobble a little bit there, the paper, and that's just because I've printed quite a few times on that piece of paper. But it's a little bit thicker as this paper, so it's not too bad. But if I kept going, sometimes it can tear, so you do just need to be a little bit careful. Coming in with some black now, just onto the palette. Picking out a paintbrush, and I'm just adding some big, nice, loose, swirly marks straight onto the plate with the paintbrush. And back in with that nice print from before. Lining it up as best as I can, and smoothing it all down. I love that. That's a beautiful piece. Either as collage or just as a piece on its own, just like that. I love that. And there's still some excess on the plate there, so I'm just going to pop that on top of that one. See what happens. And there we go. Now I'm coming in again with the paintbrush, but I'm just putting some paint on the edge, well, putting some paint on the brush, but then just quickly dabbing it to make all these lovely like dashed lines. Working out which way to put them. They create some lovely texture. Now I'm just coming in and putting some paint on top of those dashes, and I'm hoping that some of them will keep sort of showing through when I take my next print. So just rolling over some white and the powder blue. And that's the thing about GELLI prints, you never know what you're going to sort of pull off your plate. Always a bit of the unexpected and a surprise. And yeah, there they are. That's really cool. So next up I'm coming in with a little sponge here. So this is just like a makeup sponge, and I'm just dashing the sponge across so it just removes a little bit of the paint, and it doesn't actually look much here, but you'll see once the paper is put on top and pulled back, it creates a really nice pattern. Look at that, that's really cool. Squeezing some white paint out, using the roller and just not fully rolling it all out. That creates a really nice pattern. I love like sort of worn paint on doorways and worn walls, so this sort of printing just creates those lovely effects, those lovely textures. I'm just going to print what's left over the top of that one. Just adding even more texture and layering it all up. Straight in with some black now. Mixing it in. That'd be a cool print, just where it was there, where it wasn't fully mixed in. And here I'm placing some card pieces on top of the paint. So this is just your regular card, and all I've done is use a craft knife just to cut out some shapes. They look sort of coloured here, and it's because I've used them quite a few times with my jelly plate. And you'll find that they get stronger and stronger the more you use them, because that paint is getting laid up on top and making it a lot thicker. So I'm just arranging these shapes just randomly. I'm just picking out randomly and creating some sort of a pattern on the plate. And what you'll find is where these card pieces are, when you take a print, it's either going to leave it white if you use a fresh piece of paper, or if you use a piece of paper that you've already printed on, it's going to leave that colour behind. So you'll see that very soon once I've put all these shapes on. Back in with that beautiful burnt orange almost colour. Place on top and smooth it down as best you can. Just taking some excess paint off there, and then I'm just going to roll that on top just to make sure it gets to all the little edges of where those shapes are. And then start peeling back. Wait for it. That's cool. Look at that. That's just a piece of art in itself. And now just going to peel all those shapes off, because you can take another print from this. Can you see where the pieces of paper or the card have been taken off? There's still that paint behind that got left behind. So just peel all those shapes off. Just the last one there to go. And I'm just using a plain piece of paper here, and that's just going to lift off all the rest of that paint, but hopefully still leave a pattern. And there it is. Some more paint on the palette now, so I'm just squeezing out some of that powder blue. And I'm just wetting a paintbrush there, just ever so slightly, and then I can pick some of this paint up, just mixing some of the sienna into it there, and I'm just going to dab some paint blobs straight onto the plate with the paintbrush. And then I'll take a print from this. But I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stick some music over this so you can watch the rest. But if there's any questions at all, do leave a little comment down below and I shall get back to you. to the end of my little jelly printing session, so I hope you've enjoyed watching. I hope you've picked up some good hints and tips to use, and any questions at all, just leave a little comment down below and I'll get back to you. Thanks for watching.